where are the low value men? Like, what are all the low value men up to during these trying times? Because the high value men, I know they're around. They won't shut the fuck up. Low value men, I have not heard a word out of. I'm starting to think I'm on their side. I think I want one of those. I want a low value man. They don't make podcasts. I haven't seen one low value man make a podcast. Do they not know how to use microphones? Maybe that's a good thing. That's hot. All right, I've never seen a man use a microphone for good.
Until now, everybody buckle up. It's low value mail time with your host, Danny Polishchuk. What's up, Scroats? What is happening? Sorry I'm late, but I was less late than I thought I was going to be. As mentioned in the chat, someone decided to finally man the fuck up. And I probably shouldn't joke about this, but someone jumped on the tracks at Union Square, which means I had to go all the way around. I probably could have taken a bike. Well, it would have been smarter, but I didn't, and it took me an extra hour to get here. I apologize for that, but we made it. Oh, yeah. I got I don't want to hear it. I got my Coke Zero. There's like a run on, I haven't seen Diet Dr. Pepper, and that's the poison of choice for me. I haven't seen that in a minute. I don't know what's going on. They're having some issues getting it, I don't know. It's big in demand. Big in demand, I suppose. So anyways, welcome to Low Value Mail, episode number 114 on this Monday, August 5th, 2024, year of our Lord. Still don't know which Lord that is, but there's a bit of a race war going on in the UK. So they might sort that out for us. That might be, as far as I understand, that kind of thing gets sorted out on your behalf. And then you kind of are like, hey, this is what you do now. No, the show's not canceled, Big Dick Daddy. Someone jumped on the tracks, and it's amazing. One person could just decide to just jump on the tracks, take the easy way out, even though that seems like not the easy way, because there's like no guarantee that you don't just wind up super maimed. But anyways, it caused a real pain in my ass. It took me 90 minutes to get to the studio. Normally it takes me 30 minutes. Real pain in my ass. Before we get started, please, for those of you who are not subscribed to this channel, whether you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, or some of you watch on Twitter. I don't know why. I like Twitter, but it's not really set up quite great. Although I saw a rumor that Twitter may be adding payments, so maybe there'll be like some sort of super chatting thing on Twitter, which could, I guess, be cool. I don't know. I can't be monitoring 3 things at once, though, so we got to just pick a lane, and it'll be, I guess, YouTube until they give me the old, we know. Especially leading up the elections, not looking good. But anyways, please subscribe to the channel if you're not, because some of you just watch and you're not subscribed, and like the stream. 12 likes? 12? That's it? What are you guys, fucking with me or something? You must be fucking with me. That's fine. It's a funny joke, guys and gals. All 4 of you gals. Also, if you'd like to support the show, as well as get exclusive access to the after shows that we did one last week, please go to patreon.com/lowvaluemail, MAIL, and sign up for as little as $5 a month. Or you can join the channel here. Excuse me. Or you can join the channel here. Join the channel. You can join the channel for $1. Literally one measly fucking dollar, and get access to the after shows. So do that, and then you get one of these little badges, and you get a wrench. And if you have a wrench, do not delete anybody's comments. That is an instant loss of the wrench. That is, I don't care what the reason is. I don't care if you're getting bullied. I don't care if you're getting cyber bullied. I don't care if someone said something about your mother. I don't care. It's not the point of it. So, that is that. Also, tomorrow night, we'll be back with an all-new episode of The Bathhouse. If you missed last week's episode of The Bathhouse, you missed maybe one of the funniest things that's ever happened. Maybe in my life. It was courtesy of Ruben Rubestar. And it was so goddamn funny. So if you're not watching The Bathhouse, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I can safely say, because there's not a lot of competition, that is the funniest call-in show that exists in the world. I'm not going to say it's the funniest podcast. Maybe it is sometimes. But it is for sure the funniest call-in show that exists. So, anyways. There's that. We'll be back 9 p.m. And we'll be back in the green room. If you caught last week, we were in the Stands studio, their auxiliary studio. Which is good because now we have a spot. Because as you know, sometimes Dave Chappelle shows up. Other people show up. And then they got to be like, hey, you can't use the green room. But now we have a backup. So that's good. That means less canceled shows. That means more shows for you. All right. Lot going on. Markets crashed for those of you owning crypto. That was a tough one in the last 24 hours. Although it seems like we're kind of back. Not in crypto, but from what I understand, and we're going to open the phone line shortly. From what I understand, those people over in Japan, the Japanese, basically, because they have, and you can correct me on this, but from what I understand, they have pretty low birth rates, which everybody, that is the ultimate kind of, I don't want to say contrarian take, 'cause it's not a contrarian take, but whenever someone says they're worried about, population growth, that's a stupid person. That is a stupid person. Slav, you're asking for it. What I see you deleted a comment. That's your name. I'll let it slide. I'll let that one slide as a joke, as a little goof. But I'm going to run a tight ship here. So, anyways, the Japanese, stupid people will be like, I'm worried about population growth, even though I think someone called in or someone commented and said you could fit every person in the world in America. And I believe that's true. It wouldn't be comfortable. It would smell like shit. But you could do it. There's that much land and that few people, even though it seems like there's a lot of land. But anyways, the Japanese have declining birth rates, and so they've had a pretty stagnant economic thing. And if this is boring you, I apologize. But you can call in. I want to know what you think about it with all this stuff. Because some people are like, it's World War III, and we got some shit popping off in the Middle East. We do. I don't know if Kamala announced a VP pick tonight. I don't know. But this open lines. If you have anything you want to talk about, any conspiracy stuff, any tales of the paranormal, anything. It's just an open show. And this is every first show of the month. This is the first Monday of the month. Will be open lines unless for some reason I can't make the first show due to scheduling, at which point we will change that. But that's the plan, is if I'm here on the first Monday of the month, that's what we're going to do. And then the UK riots. We have the UK riots popping off due to, I'd be remiss to say it was due to the murder of those 3 children, because this has kind of been boiling over. This is, I guess, some sort of tipping point, I suppose. Anyways, the Japanese thing is their interest rates are 0 in Japan because they need to incentivize people to borrow and spend and whatever. And then they raise and so then there's a thing called the carry trade where people borrow money from Japan and then they invest it elsewhere and they make a little bit of money on that spread. And it is crazy that Japan just raises their interest rate 0.25%, and it caused all this nonsense. Because I guess a lot of stuff had to unwind, if you were. But it looks like, and the Nikkei, which is Japan's index or whatnot, dropped like 10% yesterday, but then it seems like it's almost completely rebounded. Everybody today was like sky's falling. We might be literally higher than, except for crypto. Crypto got, but again, all these things are connected. It's hard to know what's going on. But the UK riots are pretty crazy. It's a straight up race war in the UK, and then we have world war, or not maybe necessarily a world war, but people were tracking on I think Friday or Saturday night. If you don't know, the head of Hamas got killed in Iran, was it? Yeah. Apparently they knew he was going to be at this place, and they, from one account I heard, is they planted an explosive in this hotel kind of deal, guest house, that they knew that he was going to eventually be at, and then when he was there, they just got rid of him. But they don't like it when you kill people in other countries. No, they don't. And Iran's been threatening to blow shit up to retaliate for the last 3 days, and they haven't done shit. And as they say, shit or get off the pot. So I'm going to open the phone lines. Let's hear what you want to talk about. It's your show. I'm going to enjoy my Coca-Cola Zero. We have, and I know it's an 800 number, 1-888-949-2969. It's only free of charge for Americans and Canadians, I believe. Maybe Mexicans because of that NAFTA, the North American deal. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had someone call in from Mexico. I don't really know. But anyways, the Muslims and the whites are going at it in the UK. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say. So they have a Domino's pizza tracker. There's a Domino's near the Pentagon, and people track the activity to see how busy the Domino's at the Pentagon was. All right, we got our first call. Anyways, it was popping off on Friday night, which means they're working late, and then all the bars were empty. So, we got a call from Israel. All right, let's take this. Hello, you're on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, it's Guy from Israel.
Guy from Israel. How's it going? It sounds like you're calling from Israel. Are you in a bunker?
Yeah. No, I'm just in my apartment. Why does it sound...
It sounds, I don't know if it's just my end that it sounds echoey, but it might be just my headphones.
Yeah.
People in the chat can tell me if they hear it as well. But what's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. I'm awake at 4 a.m. and I saw that you were going live, and with all these tensions going on around here, figured it might be a good time to give a call.
So what's going on? Where do you live in Israel? Because I saw all the flights from New York to Tel Aviv. All the flights from New York to Tel Aviv are basically not running until August 31st. So is everybody just expecting some shit to pop off there?
I mean, yeah, it's tense. I was just talking with a friend of mine, was at his apartment, just earlier today or yesterday. And yeah, it was just, just not knowing what's coming. It's just like, listen, we have what Iran sent over last time, right? And they shot down 90% of that, of what Iran sent over. And that's kind of frightening because, that's kind of a stress test, because now they know what Israel is capable of defending, and they can send something much, much bigger.
Yeah.
So, there's definitely a big worry about this upcoming thing to be catastrophic. I know you said shit or get off the pot, but it's just the announcement of intent. Listen, last time they announced intent and then they came through. It's just with war, oftentimes it's not always just a instant attack without any warning.
Sure. Now, I have a question. Do people in Israel think that you guys were behind the killing of the president of Iran in the helicopter?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I have, since the last time we spoke, I've kept very little track on the news just because it's been getting my blood boiling so much. And the most news that I get, honestly, is from Boys Cast.
Oh, okay.
And from Mark Dice is the only guy I follow, but I stopped with everybody else. But regarding if they thought, listen, I can't. Knowing Israel's history and their covert operations, I would be surprised if it wasn't Israel. And
sure.
I'd be shocked.
Sure. I mean, that's quite the convenient thing to happen, to just helicopter crash into a mountain. Now, did they do Kobe too?
I mean, listen. What's that?
I said, do you think that they maybe did Kobe Bryant as well, because he died the same way? Did he know something?
I doubt it, but who the fuck knows? Maybe he seems like quite the target for Israel, right?
Sure.
They were after his ass for a long time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you guys are just waiting there. Do the sirens go off a lot? Like, do you have to go to the bomb shelters?
Listen, the sirens don't go off until like something's incoming. So like that's it's just like a very, depending on where it's coming from. Like from Gaza, there was like the sirens went off. You had about a minute warning to run into a shelter or whatever.
And you can get to. Do you live in an apartment? Is there a shelter in your building?
I live in an apartment, but there's no shelter close by. Like the stairwell is the shelter for me.
Now I have a question. When you're renting, how long have you lived where you live? Like in the building you live?
How long? I've lived in this apartment for about 3 years or more.
Now, when you're looking as a prospective renter, is that a factor in any way? I guess maybe it is so more now. Right now, if you look at, rental, advertisements, having a shelter is something that if they have one, now it's advertised. In the past, it wasn't like something that you saw. Yeah. But now it's like, because that's a priority for a lot of people for very good reason. Sure. So it's basically like if you hear, like where I live, if there's like a pool or something, there's a premium.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to get to a shelter?
I mean, listen, for me, it's not possible. I mean, there's no shelter nearby, like it's just a fucking luck,
because they make it out that every Israeli can kind of just get to a shelter easily, but I guess not.
Not exactly. Listen, so I live in Jaffa, which is like a, kind of mixed Arab, a Jewish area. And so I think this area has a lot older infrastructure than like central Tel Aviv. So you're not going to see, like shelters were something that were kind of put into place later on. Gotcha. So I think the nearest shelter to me, I think is like a 10-minute walk. There's no fucking way.
So you're fucked.
Got to get someplace. Yeah, fuck, like totally screwed. Like if a missile comes, like I'm toast.
You're toast. There's nowhere to go. And are they like talking about building new ones? Like, are they going to have like a kind of infrastructure?
No. I mean, you can't. I mean, no. I mean, listen. You'd have to like uproot you have to demolish the buildings and like because the shelters are underground.
Right.
They're.
But I mean, Jews and tunnels.
Yeah.
I mean, we're known for our tunnels.
Jews and tunnels. What?
I said Jews are known for digging tunnels. Yeah, we are now.
Because of the Chabad thing.
Correct.
The Chabad thing in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was some interesting stuff. I mean,
they should get all the
stuff that goes.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time. I was going to say they should.
There's a lot of shady stuff that goes on with like the the Haredim and Hasidim, just like you have with like. The whole Catholic priest scandal kind of stuff.
Sure.
Like, that stuff goes on within the Orthodox religious world just as well. I mean, they're sexually repressed just as much as as many religions are. So
sure.
I mean, hearing about those tunnels.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say they use their pent up energy to dig tunnels.
Yeah, to fuck kids, I imagine. I don't know.
Probably a little bit of that too.
It was very, very. Yeah, there's that part, Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Cool. Well, sounds like everything's going well, but as a Jew, you can appreciate that this cost me by the minute. So thank you for calling. I'm gonna take another call. Have a good one.
Yeah. Love Filth City, by the way, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All
right, man. Get you on the flip side.
There. All right, let's take another call here. Oh, and it didn't go through. Just so close. All right, well, the phone lines are open. 1-888-949-2969. Oh, here we go. Hello, you're on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, it's Tim.
Hey, what's up?
Danny.
It sounds like everybody sounds like shit tonight. So I think this might be my doing, but I don't know what it is. But it sounds like everybody sounds
I don't know either.
Yeah, because I can't imagine.
Do you not have the producer tonight?
No producer, but he wouldn't be able to fix it because it's. So I came here in such a huff that I didn't actually have a chance to really test anything out. But normally it works. But I use this little like this app thing, and it I don't know.
It does well enough. I mean, hey, this ain't NPR here. We don't have to sound great. We're a bunch of drunken guys talking about conspiracy theories.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. But it doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound great. But
did you see the guy jump on the track?
No. I live in Brooklyn, and so the main way to get from where I live into the city is the L train, but Union Square is literally every train goes through Union Square essentially, no matter where.
Okay, I grew up on Long Island, so outside.
So so anyways, it was in Union Square. Yeah. So they just were like,
they just fucked up your commute. Yeah.
Well, I had to go deep into Brooklyn basically and catch a different train and then walk, and it was a whole.
All right, so I missed the reason I asked about the producers because you guys been fucking Johnny on the spot with like putting you on and getting you like in lines, and you can listen to on your phone because I don't have a computer, so I listen to your shit on my phone, and then I call in. It was awesome when your guy would put you through, and you could listen as you wait.
I know that. Yeah. That is a great feature, especially. I think that's a Zoom feature. I gotta figure out what's going on.
So what have we been getting into?
We had an Israeli caller just as the first call of the night, but we were basically seems like the main things going on right now are the conflict in the Middle East, stock market crashing. Although that seems honestly potentially.
Is it the whole stock market, or is it just the crypto stuff?
No, the crypto stuff went down the most, but it seems like it's kind of anything that's like essentially a risk asset got creamed.
Oh man.
Yeah, but
I had a few questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
For you. So, I'm a man who's not ever got into social media of any kind, really.
How old are you?
And I'm 33.
Wow, you're 33 and you managed to avoid social media. I have some friends my age.
I was on MySpace and I was on Facebook when it started, but then I was like, this shit's gay,
Sure.
Yeah. So my question for you is, where do you get your news from?
Twitter. Literally only from Twitter.
Social media.
I watch, not social media because I don't get it from anywhere else.
Twitter?
Twitter is social media, yes, but I would never get my news. Basically, anybody who uses Twitter knows that you'll read something on Twitter, even if it's like some crazy breaking news thing, and then it's on any sort of mainstream media 30 minutes later or like the next day even.
So a lot of my stuff comes from, pathetically enough, this show and the Boys Cast and people like Jimmy Dore. And I feel like you guys are independent voices that I feel like don't have an agenda.
We do not have an agenda. No.
That's I'm looking for. I'm wondering if you have any other suggestions into that type of, without joining Twitter or whatever.
I mean, nothing beats Twitter because you can just go follow a number of accounts, and then especially with the For You page or whatever, something can happen and you can see.
I've literally never opened it, so
I mean, it's a great.
So your advice to me is to get onto Twitter.
Well, it depends how informed you want to be, I suppose. I think we do.
I feel like I'm getting pretty informed with you guys.
That's true. I mean, I feel like we do a decent. I mean, it depends what you're into. Like, there's lots of stuff we don't cover. Like, there'll be lots of shit.
I kind of just want the broad strokes.
Like, if you want to know what's good, like I was saying, like in Canada, I follow everything that's happening in Canada, and all of Twitter from Canada right now is just people shitting in the streets. That's basically Canadian news at the moment is people shitting in the streets.
Just shit in the streets. That's breaking news in Canada.
Honestly, that is like most of my Canadian Twitter is just people shitting in the streets.
Eclipsed. No one cares about Trudeau's blackface anymore. You can't remember how many times.
He's kind of like a lame duck at this point because even though he has,
you think he'll win?
No, I mean, he theoretically could, but his polling is so low. Like, it's
But
great.
do you think Canada is up to shenanigans as other countries might be?
I mean, they were up to shenanigans in the last election in the sense that the two like liberal parties kind of made a deal with one another, and they did that. They made a deal, and they allowed Trudeau to stay in power essentially. But no, from what the polling looks like and just the general kind of vibes, like unless he stepped down, it was a similar Biden situation where he's like, you know what, I'm not going to run. I'm going to hand this over to someone else. They would have a slightly better chance.
I don't see that ever happening, though. Do you?
I don't see that happening.
Trudeau stepping down.
No, I don't. Well, he's been there for like, it'll be 10 years by the time the election rolls around.
But he's still young. He's still young and like looks good. And, like, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, 10 years is enough to be leading a country. But I don't know. Like, from what I see, I can't imagine from everything I read that he has a chance. Like there are like, you know, certain writings in you know, that are.
Who was the guy who was the guy who was like biting the apple and like scoffing at the fucking?
That's essentially the leader of the Conservative Party, like the Republicans in Canada.
What I saw, that guy, he seems like a fucking cool motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean.
Cool.
That's the sad part.
I don't know anything. Please inform me.
Is he's not cool, but relative to Trudeau, he is. I mean, they're always generally dweebs, but
the one clip was cool.
Yeah, the one clip was cool because it was kind of funny, for sure.
Yeah.
But he definitely, I think, if
is
I
he
was
the front runner?
Yeah, pretty big time at this point.
Do you think that would change the Canadian politics immensely, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things he wants to do is he wants to, so in Canada, the main broadcaster is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the CBC.
Mm-hmm.
It's government funded. So essentially like the main news, like there's other private news networks, but they're the ones that, they're like the government funded news, and they're super left leaning. Like you'd think they should be kind of unbiased because they're, you know, different parties come into power.
Oh, look at NPR.
Exactly. So his main thing is he wants to just cut their budget, like literally being like, look, you guys can exist, but you have to be like a money making thing instead of like an actual business, instead of just like relying on.
You got to have a telethon if you want to fucking pay your people.
Yeah, and I mean, I like I've known so many people who work there. It is a cushy gig. They don't fucking do anything. They don't put out anything really particularly good, other than CBC Radio is okay. And I don't think
is that just a music station, or is that
no? It's more like it's more just like all the local news, because like the local news is like the local news that they offer is beneficial because, you know, sometimes there aren't local.
The girls volleyball team won in a staggering defeat.
Kind of. And like you find out, you know, local municipal shit, but on a national level, like in terms of, you know, they're not needed to produce comedy shows. That's for sure. Or like, you know, scripted television or reality TV. Like there's no reason for it. Everything they make loses money. So
all right, let me jump off this. I got two more quick questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's going on with Crossing Streams?
Yeah. Crossing Streams will return. I know it's been a while. I basically went to Europe, and then it's just Crossing Streams will be back. I'm moving. So it's just a hassle for me to do from my house, because I currently live in this tiny fucking apartment with my wife and my dog. And we only have one bedroom and very minimal living space. So it's difficult to do, but
I'll tell you this. One of the funniest live things I've ever seen is watching a live Crossing Streams, and that fucking drunk conspiracy guy who's all in everything, and he didn't know about Tower 7.
Oh yeah.
And watching him look it up
anyway,
in live.
It was hilarious. He's like, Tower 7? What the fuck are you talking about, Tower 7?
It's pretty good.
No.
It's pretty good to see this guy's mind being blown in real time.
Yeah. So Crossing Streams will be back. I'm moving in at the end of the month. I'm moving. So once I'm settled in and I've moved, Crossing Streams will return, and I might even bring back the fucking stupid female dating strategy, because I thought I had defeated.
That was my second question.
I thought I had defeated them because they took like 6 months off.
They're back with a vengeance, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. We'll see what they're talking about. But so I'll probably
Dude, you played on 2 times thing, and then I played on 2 times that because you just got to get through it.
It's fucking brutal.
You just got to get through it, but it's when you guys are making the jokes about it make worth listening to the whole thing. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the female dating strategy is they started just basically reviewing like chick shows. And I'm like, okay, well, they didn't even have theories anymore. It was more just like, hey, we watched Love is Blind. Here's a recap. And I'm like, I can't listen. I'll fucking stab myself in the
I feel like your end game should be to catch up to them and then try to contact them and be like, my review of your show gets more shit than yours.
They've been
on to me.
No, right before I stopped doing it, they would show up in the chat, the live chat. Because
I remember that.
Yeah. So they know I exist. I just thought
Do you think you could get them on the show?
No, because
that would be amazing.
I couldn't because they're anonymous and
well, couldn't you have them on anonymous then?
I feel like they would never trust me to do that, but I'm sure if they asked, I would do it, or at least one of them. But I don't think it would ever happen. That's my guess.
I've taken you around my flights of fancy enough. Yeah. I'll let another call again.
All right, later, man.
Thank you for talking to me, Danny.
Later.
Love the show.
Thanks, dude.
Peace.
Okay, I'm going to try and reset this thing really quickly and see if this does anything. So you might lose me for a second. But talk amongst yourselves and let's see if this does anything for this fucking echo. Okay. I don't know if that did that do anything? All right. Well, all right. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Phone lines are open. 1-888-949-2969. It is your show today. And we got a call. Let's see. Hello. You're on Low Valley Mail.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Yeah. Sorry, people. I don't know what this audio thing is, but go ahead.
Okay. Don't worry about it. I can't hear it, to be honest with you. I mute you. So I can hear you over the phone, and I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, we can hear people well enough.
Oh, that's good. So how's everything been going, man?
Very good, very good.
What's the topic of today?
It's open lines.
Talking about
it's open lines, but we've been talking about the UK riots, potential World War III breaking out. Those seem to be, and the stock market crashing today.
Oh yeah, well, Friday and today.
But that seems to be. I saw the Nikkei is like almost erased all of yesterday's losses. So,
jeez. Well, that's what happens when the rich people start pulling their money out of the market. You know what I mean?
I don't know if this was I think this was a bunch of things that were all very interrelated because everything is just kind of went to shit at the same time, and then it'll kind of unwind, and then it'll probably come back. That's my guess.
Else they've been lying about.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
It catches up with them, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't keep it under the rug for too long.
No.
For real. No, they can't. You were talking about Canada. What's your feelings about Poilievre?
I think he's better than Trudeau. I'm sure if he's in power for 10 years, like Trudeau, I'm sure by the end of that term, I'll have had enough of him. Like, I'm not.
Hey, how long is your terms in Canada? I'm American.
I think they're 5 years, but then they'll call because Trudeau's now had 3 elections, but I believe it's a 5-year term.
Okay.
I'm
not looking on Google.
I'm looking on Google specifically.
Oh.
I believe it's a 5-year term. Like I think there's an election every 5 years. Yeah. So yeah, it says maximum of 5 years, but then they always seem to call an election, except for this time around. But they'll call an election like early sometimes, just to if they think like they can win the election, they'll just call it.
Like get everybody working up.
Yeah, like if they think like everything's lining up and things are going really well, they'll call an early election, win that, and that'll give them another at least guaranteed 5 years. So Trudeau's basically not calling an early election because he's like, I'll lose instantly right now.
Yeah. I mean, what was the last time that you lived in Canada?
I'm almost about to celebrate living in America for 5 years in a month.
Do you plan on becoming a citizen or no?
Probably, yeah, at some point.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I mean, I like
Just
it
remember,
here.
we the people is like one of the biggest questions on there. Like
What's
the
that?
beginning of the Constitution.
Oh,
We the people.
We the people, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't looked into any of that yet, so.
Okay, you should, dude. You need to study, man. I mean,
Yeah.
but hey, I don't because I was born here.
You were born here, yeah. I saw that JD Vance actually wants to remove birthright citizenship. Like for essentially like if you're born here but your parents are not legal, essentially.
Oh, anchor babies.
Like anchor babies, yeah, exactly. He wants to get rid of that.
I don't know, man. There's a plan of all this stuff that with the immigrants and everything. They're just not being 100% honest with any of us, and that's the problem. If they were to explain exactly what's happening on why they need an influx of a population, they should tell us. It's just a lot of different pieces that really don't want to expose this truth.
I mean, I honestly think I honestly think I know the answer, which is essentially, I said it before, but it's essentially that this whole economy and economy in general is a bit of a Ponzi scheme. And I saw Eric Weinstein talking about this. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but he kind of insinuated a similar thing. But essentially, the whole system of this economy is based off of growth. Like everything, the reason that there's inflation, prices go up, why you can buy a home and expect your home to be worth more money in the future, which is kind of like a bit of the American dream or whatever's left of it, is that you buy your house and then it goes up in value. That's kind of your nest egg is in your house. So then if you're, getting up in age and you need to sell your house, you get a bunch of money and then you can kind of live or whatever, right? But the only way that happens is if the population increases. The population has to increase. You can get more productive. I guess you can get more productive, but the easiest way to do that is to just increase the consumption. And the easiest way to just increase consumption, and I'm talking about like food, toilet paper, cars, whatever, is just to have more people. Like more mouths equals more consumption, just instantly.
Sure.
So, and they probably were humming along for a bit when the birth rates were like at a certain number, but they're just not. And so you basically risk becoming Japan, which is Japan has borderline almost like a negative birth rate. They don't have a negative birth rate, but their population is expected, their population is supposed to be expected to be in 100 years much lower than it is today. And so you have
10 years
or whatever.
10 years.
No, I think it's
they're living off of a population that's 40 plus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They have a super old population. Right. But so if you just think about that, if your population starts declining, then you have empty homes everywhere. Right.
And they're dealing with that right now.
So then you have empty homes. So then right. And then you're not
for $100,000.
So think about this. You have empty homes. So then nobody's building homes anymore. Think about how many people work in home construction, all this shit. Think about how many people work in just
the one thing that's different from Japan, from America or Canada, they only expect those homes to be available for 10 years. After 10 years, they expect them to be completely demolished. And then
you're saying that's in Japan?
Yes, that's their culture, dude. Absolutely. It's not like the Chinese culture where they're trying to hold on to an apartment for 99 years.
Yeah, in China, but China, you're not allowed to really invest in China. One of the main places you're even really allowed, ways you're allowed to invest is real estate. They limit your options for investing your money.
So true. So true.
Yeah, so you can
so
you can only invest in, so they've set it up that way. But I'm just saying in America, if everything doesn't keep humming along, then you're what? You just have those they show those
You're not even looking at the deep parts though, dude. You're looking at the surface at this point.
That's just on the surface.
The long term is Social Security.
Yep.
The millennials and Gen Z are not going to have that opportunity.
No.
It's being spent now. It's being all fucking getting rid of right now. I probably won't even be able to take advantage of it. I'm pretty pissed off about that whole thing. Be honest with you. I paid into it. I
Yeah.
deserve it, and that's what everybody before us said too, right?
Right. I mean, I feel
look
like there
at
have been
Greece.
calls for that
I
to be
mean-
happening. That you know, I mean, since I've lived here, I've been hearing, you know, Social Security is
Yeah,
is
and they're
running
going to blame
out.
each side every time too. So
And the
they're gonna
thing
say,
is
"Ooh, Trump wants to get
America,
rid of this to suck."
and if America loses like its reserve currency status, which again is
It's already
possible, is certainly
It's already
possible, but at the end of the day, like it's still not anywhere near happening. Like even still today, you go to any country on earth, if you have American dollars, you can buy anything. And
I
that
heard
is,
a few, like a decade back, that there was places in Europe that wouldn't take our money for some reason because
I
it
mean,
wasn't
I've
worth it.
traveled. I mean, I've been to like in Cambodia,
Nice.
Cambodia or no, Laos. Sorry, in
Nice.
Laos, like their currency,
Oh,
and this is a lot of places. Their currency is U.S. dollars, and you're like, why
Oh,
would
wow.
Laos currency be U.S. dollars? They have some sort of like
True.
funny money currency that you can use, but
Of
people
course.
prefer
I'm sure.
everything's in U.S. dollars. Like they prefer you pay in U.S. dollars. I can't pay in
Have you
Canadian.
been to
I can't-
Thailand?
I've been to Thailand. Yeah.
Have you been to Pattaya Beach?
Pattaya Beach.
Yeah.
Can't remember. That's in the south. Like those.
Oh, man.
I mean, I went to like Koh Phi Phi, those islands, Koh Phangan, like those Koh Tao.
Okay.
I don't
know if it's an island or not.
No, I
just
don't
see a
think.
lot of videos,
I don't think I
and it just
ever
seems fun
went
place to be.
to. Did I go to Pattaya? No, I never went to Pattaya. We had
Oh, yeah.
somewhat limited time there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
didn't. Did
Sorry,
I
it
go
just
there?
like broke up the conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
ADHD. I'm like everywhere. If I find a question in my brain, I ask.
Oh, it's all good.
So that's my bad.
No, it's
All
all
right,
good.
man.
Yeah,
Well, we had a good conversation. I'll
yeah,
let
man.
you go.
Appreciate it. Later. Hello, Rube Star.
Oh shit, I got through.
You got through. Apologies for this sound quality, everybody. I don't know what's going on. I think it's this updated for this fucking audio capture thing that I'm using, and I have no idea how to fix it. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. Yeah, what's up, Rube? How you going? How you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm watching Scream for the first time. I'm trying to figure out who the killer is. Rose McGowan just got killed.
You've never seen
If you've
Scream?
ever seen it.
I've seen Scream. I haven't seen it in some time.
Don't ruin it for me.
Okay, I won't. Hold on. Go ahead. Talk there.
I was wondering what your day is like, Danny.
What my day is like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, you don't work like a 9-to-5 job, do you?
No, I don't have a 9-to-5 job.
So this is your career. This is it. This is what you're doing.
I do a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of stand-up at night. Basically, like Wednesday to Sunday, I do stand-up. Monday and Tuesday, I do podcasts. I did Real Ass Podcast today. We record Boys Cast on Wednesday. That's basically it. When I go on the road and do stand-up, and that's basically it. I write. I work out.
Do you edit?
I do editing. I work out 5 days a week. I go to the gym. That's basically it. That's most of my. I read a lot.
So you're doing stand-up 2 nights a week?
No, I do stand-up 5 nights a week. I do stand-up
5 nights.
Wednesday to Sunday. I do stand-up. I can't do stand-up, obviously, on Mondays or Tuesdays. Although sometimes I will do stand-up before Bathhouse if there's like a spot that I can like get in time, because it usually has to be like 7:30 or something, but I'll do that.
How long's your set usually?
Normally sets in the city are 10 to 15 minutes. And I'll do probably like 8 or 10 spots a week.
And how much of that is new material, or how long do you run new material or the same material? Or switch it up?
Generally, it really depends. Like some jokes take longer to finish than others. Some jokes, like, I'll do it for 2 weeks and I'll be like, you know what, I don't need to do that anymore. I still might do it for a little longer just to kind of maybe find something else in there. And then usually like when you say new material, like brand new.
So Wednesday through Sunday, are you doing the same set every night?
For the most part, I'll have like a 10-ish minute kind of pack of jokes segment that I'm kind of working on. And then like I'll discard jokes as I kind of like feel like they're finished, and then I'll work at replacing them. So like if you see me do 10 minutes, there might be realistically, unless I'm doing like, sometimes I'll show up at a show and there's like, cause there's a lot of like bad shows where there'll be like 6 people in the audience. And then I'll literally I'll have a list of kind of like just ideas, and I'll just like bomb, just kind of working out just like a straight, like I've never said it before. But for the most part, like if you catch me doing 10 minutes, like generally, there'll be a few minutes of that, maybe 2 or 3 minutes that I've like been working on for the past maybe week or two, and then maybe the other 8 minutes I've been doing for like a month or two, and then kind of just cycling in and out essentially, and like putting those certain jokes away and then adding new ones.
So how many podcasts do you do a week?
Best
case scenario.
It varies. I mean, 3 minimum with the ones that I do, the Boys Cast, and then I did Real Ass Podcast this afternoon. Usually I'll do 1 or 2 others. I try not to do like a crazy amount, but usually like 1 or 2 others a week, something like that.
How much prep do you put into the Boys Cast?
We prep quite a bit. Like we have all the articles and stuff, and yeah, we have the sketch, and yeah, we do quite a bit of prep for the Boys Cast. For this, I do, probably a few hours for this, in Bathhouse 0.
And when you're doing the Bathhouse, are those guys going on stage that night?
Some of them might have spots. Like, I mean, sometimes they'll have spots afterwards, yeah, or before, or they came from a spot very often.
Or are they kind of just there for you, or both?
Well, they might have come from a different spot, or they might be going to one after. That's pretty common, but they come for that. Yeah, like now I do that.
Okay, that was pretty much it. I was just curious what your daily routine and schedule was like.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Rubestar.
All right.
Later.
Peace out.
Rubestar, everybody. You guys thought he was trolling me. Rubestar's no troll. Rubestar is no troll. He would not do such a thing. I see Dropkick. Where do you get your ideas from? We were really close to where do you get your ideas from? I know. You know what? I know how much people hate inside. It's so funny because when Mark Maron's podcast came out, it was a lot of inside baseball kind of comedy shit, and people were like, "Oh, that's so cool," and then people got so fucking bored of that shit, and it is boring. It's not entertaining. I agree. Preaching to the choir. Hello, you're on Low Value Mail.
Hi, Danny.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Jason from Toronto.
Jason from the Dot. What's up, man?
Not much. I had a couple of questions. So it was earlier this year. I watched Hanukkah on Rye. I heard you talking about it on the Boys Cast.
Can you speak up a little bit? It's
right, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. It's just we're having a little audio issue, and it's just kind of making it worse.
Yeah, no problem. I heard you talking about Hanukkah on Rye on the Boys Cast.
Yeah, I never watched it. That was I never actually got a chance to see it, but that was a recommendation from Joe the lawyer.
Okay, because I watched it, and I was wondering if you kind of knew, because I was curious about what the budget for a movie like that was.
Hanukkah on Rye. So the Hanukkah on Rye, I believe, was a Lifetime movie. It's one of those or a Hallmark. Is it a Hallmark movie? Yeah, Hallmark Channel. So every Hallmark Channel movie is filmed in Canada. I think. Okay. I think every single one.
Yeah.
They have. I watch them from time to time, like bits of them, only because I have my Samsung TV. Whenever I turn it on, for whatever reason, it goes immediately to the Hallmark Channel. That's the default channel. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But that is just the default. But I would think millions. I mean, The movie I made, Filth City, you can go check it out. It's on Tubi.
Oh, I watched that too.
That movie we made almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And that movie 10 years ago, and we made that on a fucking shoestring budget. Had a lot of like favors, a lot of stuff like that. That movie cost $1 million. So
okay, so your movie cost $1 million.
Yeah, so our movie cost $1 million. Like for example, to rent. I don't know how boring this is, but to rent cameras because they never own camera. Like productions don't own cameras. You rent everything. Like you rent all the gear, unless you are like a production house. But like those really high end cameras, like the Miri or Mira or whatever, those cameras, or even like the Red cameras, like they cost $1,000 a day a piece. Now, if you rent them for a week, you can get them for maybe $4,000. But like, it's just everything's so expensive. You gotta like, it's so expensive, especially when you're all these are union movies. So it's so expensive. Like all the crew is union. It's really expensive. Like it's,
okay. So probably something like 5 to 10 million, maybe more than that even.
Probably no. I'd say like probably one of these like Hanukkah on Rye, probably like 3 to 5 million. I would guess. I mean, like if you think about it, like watch how many extras are in a movie. They all make $200 a day. Plus you got to feed them and everything. It's like it can get really like when you see shit where you're like, yeah, this movie had a $5 million budget and then it ended up costing like $20 million. Like it can just get out of hand really, really quickly.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. So yeah, the Ari Alexa. Like I have a friend who has an Alexa Mini that he bought. It's $100,000 camera, and he rents it out for like some some crazy number. Like it's to rent it is, I don't know, 8, 7 or something like that. Like it's thousands and thousands a week. Maybe the Red is actually less, but if you want to film on like what they make like Oscar movies on and stuff, it's fucking expensive. It's a lot of money.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah. Is that it? Was that your question? You looking at making a movie? Were you looking at making a movie?
No. I was more just curious because like how cheesy it kind of was, and I was like, what does this even cost to like make? Like that was more my.
I mean, Hallmark Hallmark cranks these movies out. Like they must have multiple ones going at the same time, I would guess.
Oh, okay.
Too like they make a lot. Like Hallmark probably, I would think, is almost like one of the biggest employers of Canadian actors in Canada. Like close, because I mean nothing gets really made on the networks. Like CBC makes one show. Yeah. Like CTV, I don't know if they make anything. Global, I don't know if they make anything. So it's like they're just buying shows. So, it's up there.
Right on. Another thing. So I was at your basement show. Was that last year?
Yeah, in December.
Yeah, that's right. Who is the redheaded woman who came in with your wife?
The redheaded woman who came in with my wife.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know. There's a redhead.
Oh, okay. Because like it looked like they kind of came in with you and then sat together in the front, and I assume that one was, your now wife. But,
no, I don't think so. I can't remember. I don't think she was with anybody though.
Okay.
Yeah. Why are you trying to hit? Trying to smash?
No, I was more curious because she looked like somebody who I recognized from like a long time ago, but that chick moved to like Europe. So.
Oh. I highly doubt that. Yeah. That wasn't her.
Cool. Right on. Yeah, and then I know you like hot dogs. So if you're ever in Toronto.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, I love hot dogs.
So what I started doing is going to the hot dog factory and just buying the hot dogs that the carts get in bulk, because that's where they sell the buns and the dog.
Okay.
And it's Soloway. So if you're in Toronto and you want to stock up on a cart hot dogs, it's what is it, $16 for 16, and then $5 for a bag of 12 buns of the yellow buns.
All right. Oh, that's not bad. People don't know this, but the hot dog scene in Toronto is one of the top dog scenes. New York sucks for hot dogs. Don't get me even started on this, but New York has a very lacking hot dog scene here. It's all these. It's Sabrett has like the monopoly on them, and they're all these like tiny little boiled hot dogs, and they blow, and then you get salsa, but it's like this weird like spicy salsa. It's or not salsa, relish. It's not good.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's no good. But all right, man. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
No worries, bro.
All right.
Good night. Bye.
We're talking dogs. I went to the Yankees game yesterday, and interesting. I don't know if this is an inflation indicator or what, but they used to be, they had foot-long hot dogs. And now you go there and they say they're extra long hot dogs. And my inkling here is that it's not a foot-long hot dog anymore. They shaved a fucking inch off that thing and they don't want to get sued. And so they go, oh, it's extra long. And you think it's a foot long. And they're just cutting costs. And I mean, an inch of hot dog multiplied by probably 1 million hot dogs they sell a year. It's probably some real cash. Hello, you're on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Hey, what's up, man?
Let's see. England's, they're popping off.
England is popping off. I imagine you have something to say about that.
Well, what is it? You said you're on Telegram. Telegrams. You should also just go out of the Telegram also for news.
Yeah. I don't honestly.
Do you know how to navigate it? Do you know how to navigate it in terms of fun?
No, I don't know. Like Telegram, I don't understand how to search. I basically find external links for Telegram, and that's how you like find the actual Telegram group is like with their link. I don't know how to like when you're on Telegram to actually find shit. And mostly what I use Telegram for is once every 2 months, I just see what what is it? The khaki shorts guys are up to. Patriot Front.
Dude, they're homosexuals. Like
I'm not. I go see what they're doing because again, I've been on record and everybody says I'm a fucking rube and I'm a fucking pigeon.
Bozos.
But I don't think I agree they're bozos, but I don't think that they're feds. I don't like obviously they are. I'm sure there are feds in there, but I don't think that like everybody's like feds. I'm like they're not feds.
They're openly Zionists.
Yeah. That surprises me, to be honest.
What was it? Wait, you're surprised?
The Patriot Front is openly Zionist?
You're telling me you're surprised that a group that the news always talks about shows them organizing and saying that their whole thing is to instigate hate and division is not somehow Zionist?
How are they openly Zionist? That I've never seen. I'm going to pull it up right now, actually, now that you say it.
I mean, dude, what is it? I was getting to that as well because I did want to mention, you know who Tommy Robinson is, right?
Of course. Everybody's saying he's a Zionist. Everybody's saying
you know
he's just pitting the Muslims against the whites.
Well, look, here's the thing. Instagram, they suckered me. Like, look, I'm a sucker for the New York Post. Danny, I know you're subscribed to it on everything, on all your...
I mean, they have the best puns. They definitely... They have the best puns.
Yeah, but what is it? Instagram got me by showing, like, he did, like, a whole bunch of interviews right on the Thames, right by that bridge.
Yeah.
You know, right before he led, like, 50,000 of them, right, through London. And I was like, why y'all, like, heavily hitting me with this? It's like, because it's like that meme, like, you don't have to sell me on it. Like, I don't have to be told what's right.
Sure.
Because he was, like, saying, like, they showed me the clip of like he's saying like we're putting our children up for lottery, and that fucking makes sense, especially when there's like signs where there's like dudes just holding up a sign. He's like, I'm not far right, I'm just a father.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, his real name is like Stephen Chris Zaley Lennon.
Okay.
I mean, he's got pictures hanging out of the IDF and all that.
Stephen Christopher Yaxley Lennon.
I mean...
Lennon like John Lennon, though, not like Vladimir.
Oh, I mean, this is why you really got to get on Telegram.
Wait, are you saying that Tommy Robinson's Jewish? I could see it maybe in the face.
He's literally said it on, what is it? He said it on Twitter himself. Like, he's responded to someone saying, I'm Jewish, mate.
Really?
Like his actual word. Yeah.
Let's see the early life
plus,
section. Let's see the early life section here. Nothing.
And plus, how I know he's not like fully English is because he uses the Great British flag, not the English flag.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because if you were a true Englishman, you would use the Anglo flag. You wouldn't use the Celt flag of Wales, Scotland. But the other thing I did want to mention is we did witness a historic moment where there were Protestant Unionist Ulster English standing side by side with Catholic Irish.
Hey man, my enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Well, guess what? Did you forget that there were Palestinian support group like funds during like the 70s and 80s from the IRA?
I did not know that. No.
Wait, you had no idea that like the IRA supported PLO and Libya?
I don't think so. No, this is I believe this is the first I'm hearing of it, but it doesn't.
Do you not realize like this is like a 3D horseshoe intersection?
I mean, I could see it, but I don't know a lot about the IRA, to be honest. Like, all I know is that it was the Protestants versus the Catholics, and they fucking hated each other because if you put people together, they will find a reason to basically split up and hate each other. That's all that it is. They'll figure out something.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to ask you about this Patriot Front thing. How are they Zionists? I'm looking at their shit. They seem like definitely very pro-white.
Well, look. Either way, first off.
Well, you're saying that they're Zionists. I'm just wondering why you're saying that.
First off, it doesn't even matter. First off, they're complete bozos.
I am not saying that they're not bozos.
No. So what it all adds up to is like why they should just completely be ignored as just the farce is because I'm pretty sure they're like 30% fed operations.
I could see that number being there. Yeah, I could see it.
I mean, the FBI bragged about it in the 90s, Operation Pacon. They won't admit it to it anymore, but they've openly bragged about it, saying that like, yeah, they're like saying like the max, like the highest infiltration we've gotten in some so-called groups in the 90s were like, yeah, 60%. And they're like, now they just don't even talk about it. I mean, hey, dude, I've been evening out my whatever news algorithm. I follow Kamala and I follow that selfish bitch who tried to like get herself kidnapped.
Whitmer?
Yeah, don't say her name. Fuck her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm actually meaning to have one of the guys on the show who got. Should text Mark about that. I want one of the guys who got arrested for that.
Make sure he can you do it in an actual bathhouse where like you see he's not wearing no goofy shit.
We'll do it. What's that movie with Viggo Mortensen where he fights in the bathhouse? Eastern Promises.
Eastern Promises.
Yeah, we'll do it Eastern Promises style. Just we'll just have chains with lav. We'll just have literal just like chains with lav mics attached to them. No funny business.
I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, here's the thing. They're trying to. This is ridiculous. Seeing those cops, man. They're arresting their own. Like this is now intentional. Like anyone who says like this is not intentional of them targeting their own. This is like they've got to be completely disillusioned or just completely blind.
Who's targeting their own?
The cops. The cops are targeting actual English people.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. It's like my Twitter algorithm, because I follow all sorts of people, and the Muslims are like, we're the good guys, and you know what? Like again, there isn't not an argument, but like the guy who killed the 3 kids was a English national. Now, obviously, his parents were not.
Danny, stop. There's nothing English about him. Some piece of paper and wherever he popped out of his mama's pussy.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about him however the fuck I want, like because of what he did.
Sure.
But wherever the fuck, yeah.
And I mean, that is a
Kurdish, or wherever the fuck. He's African.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I know many African Americans who are as American as anybody I know. So it's like to say that.
Well, that's a whole different thing. Like,
well, but at what point does it not become a whole different? Like, you know, how many generations do you go? Okay, that's enough service.
Well, it's a generation of assimilation because I mean, hey, I'm not a fan of Reagan at all. Like, I know he's in a toasty bed in hell, but he had like a really good speech about how in other countries you could be an American and you can move to any other country in the world. You'll never be of that adjective of that country.
Yeah.
But America's the one place where when you come here and you get like the right values to, you know, participate in a civil, developed society that is, you know, run by Zionists, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you can at least behave properly, yeah.
I mean, I agree that
become an American.
Sure.
But they're like, it is a Caligari plan. Like, they literally want to, like, the guy who came up with this was like, yeah, we need to spread more genetics and mix around.
I mean, the thing is like growing up in Canada, and I can't speak to growing up in America because I didn't, but like I had a lot of friends, you know, from different backgrounds, a lot of like first generation people. And all my first generation friends were as Canadian as I was. You know, my parents aren't from Canada either, just because I'm white and they're not. Like, they very much were, even, you know, friends who were Muslim, for example. They weren't like...
Were their parents strict, telling them, hey, you behave properly? Like, we might get... Like, if you fuck up, we all have to leave?
I mean, they're not saying we have to leave.
That's how I grew up.
I mean...
That's how I grew up as a U.S. resident and an immigrant.
Sure.
These ones coming over, they're just they're literally just being handed. They're just being handed citizenships like it's Mardi Gras beads.
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely a case to be made that, you know, they should be vetting newcomers better. And I can't even speak to how they're vetting them. But all I can say is,
Danny,
yeah,
no newcomers. No newcomers. We need to start vetting the people who are going to be leaving. That's no.
Sure, but I mean, you're saying you want to.
No, there's got to be a moratorium, bro.
And what, kicking out Americans? Like, if someone has an American passport, but they're like just not American enough?
I mean, nobody's fast tracked, like.
How do you decide?
Alien citizenship. No, like, I'm saying, like, people haven't been fast tracked yet. Like, Kamala's plan is literally to fast track 30 million right now. And accept 15 million more.
I mean, Biden introduced it. I think it goes into, if it hasn't gone into effect, I believe it goes into effect sometime this month, where if you snuck into the country, and so if you snuck in, so they have no record of you entering the United States, you're here illegally, but you're married. I believe it's if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you've lived here for more than 10 years, but you came here illegally. It used to be that if you wanted a green card, you had to leave and then wait some period of time, which was like probably a year plus, to get your green card. And now they're essentially, and this will affect tens of millions of people, where they will give it to you without leaving. You can just go fill out some paperwork, say, I came here illegally, I'm married to a U.S. citizen, and boom, green card.
Does that not upset you, Danny? Like, when you say that out loud, do you not like feel some sort of way?
I mean, it's certainly a circumvention of the laws, and you know, it is. I mean, as someone who came here and it was incredibly difficult to come here, like I don't agree with it. That I'm just saying what Biden is doing. I'm not agreeing with it. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Trump definitely will not do that shit.
Well, I mean, hey, I just want you to get your citizenship as soon as possible. I mean, you're one of the actual good ones. You know, you're the ones. You know, you're the preferable type of immigrant. So.
Yeah. I mean, I do often wonder because I see, I see a lot of the migrants in New York City specifically, and a lot of them just end up like delivering Uber Eats kind of. And I'm like, is this the point of this? Was the point of it?
Do you feel, okay, so you're a little more Canadian, and y'all have like a little more like empathy, level of naivety and empathy.
Yeah.
Do you just not see that as being like, y'all are literally just being like halfway slaves? Like you guys.
I mean, it is kind of like Canada.
Biological robot.
Like
It's
Canada has a similar thing, and any Canadian can kind of attest to this. Where like Tim Hortons, which is the Canadian Dunkin' Donuts, like when I was a kid, everybody who worked at Tim Hortons, when I would go there, they were just all white people. Like it was, it was an entry level job, and it was like a minimum wage entry level job. And now you go. And there's like, that is basically, the job that essentially newcomers take. And, you do sometimes see, you're like, yeah, there's something going on here where they're importing these people but I guess that's kind of, that's what everybody says about America too, is they're like, yeah, who wants to do these jobs? They always say that. They're like, well, nobody here wants to do the jobs. I'm like, some people do. Like, it's not like it's not like they've all been upgraded to these way better jobs that those people can't do. Like, and then now, especially with a lot of these like fast, like food service places, they're replacing them all with fucking kiosks anyways. Like you walk into a McDonald's, you don't even order anymore. Like you don't order from a person at McDonald's anymore. That's like done.
So when it's interesting that like every time this gets brought up, you always mention like labor and workforce, but and people say like, oh yeah, that translates, on paper because there's numbers that can back everything up with employment and profit and productivity and blah blah blah, quantitative values, but nobody ever can calculate but they can only describe the qualitative effects of importing.
Of course, you're saying like what are the like
the ramifications?
Sure,
yeah,
like the cultural ramifications from essentially bringing people of all backgrounds in, I guess.
Because if we're going to speak about England, I mean, England has had Packies and those from Ceylon and those from the Raj, and those from all the mandates and the whole like Arabian Peninsula, blah blah blah, in Egypt. They've always, it's not like they've had like an enormous, sizable, noticeable population, but it's like, yeah, there's just a little part of town, and yeah, they'll just come and do business and then throughout the whole city, whatever. But they know how to behave, and there's no imposition. Like,
and I will say this you say like they know how to behave, whatever. Like, again, on balance, like they're all generally, this is very much a case of the worst elements kind of ruining it for everybody. Because again, all the people who you would kind of cast under this net, who I knew in Canada, like they were all as Canadian as I was. They loved Canada as much as I did. Like they were not like, oh, these kind of had different designs on how they were going to live their lives. Like they were very much all assimilated very quickly for the most part. I mean, getting bullied at school kind of does that. But yeah, I mean, the demographics of all these countries are going to be no question changing, especially because those groups tend to just have more kids. So it's like visually, yeah, you can expect the demographics to change. And they probably didn't consider that or care about that.
But here's the thing. They bring over their everything of their country. Why? So why can't they? But they're coming into a place that's already been established place that's has hundreds of centuries and centuries more history and established tradition, even though England doesn't have like the most stellar tradition. It is kind of redneck.
Yeah.
But why can't, like, it's like, if your thing is so great, why can't you do that back there, dude?
Well, I mean, again, people come here specifically for the economic benefits. Like, as much as America culturally is great, that's part of that is it is the economic superpower of the world. Canada is, not an economic. Well, it's definitely like up there. It's a G7 nation, so it's one of the top 7. But for the most part, like unless you're Japan and you make it impossible, or like you're culturally it's difficult, the language is difficult. This is what happens to, seems like throughout history, most countries, is eventually the makeup just changes. And I'm sure a lot of people in those countries didn't like it, but I don't know. Like, I guess you could just close the borders. I guess you could say, hey, definitely they're not going to say we're only taking certain people. Like they're not going to be like, oh, we're only going to take white people. Like that'll never happen. Not anymore. Because I think for the most part, most people don't agree with that.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you should look up the Kalergi plan. Kalergi. Because
the Kalergi plan?
Kalergi
plan. What is this? This is the Kalergi plan, sometimes called the Coudenhove-Kalergi conspiracy, is a debunked far-right. I'm just reading Wikipedia. Is a debunked far-right anti-Semitic white genocide conspiracy theory. The theory claims that Austrian-Japanese politician Richard von Coudenhove-Kalergi, creator of the Pan-European Union, concocted a plot to mix and replace white Europeans with other races via immigration. I mean, I guess the question is immigration a benefit? Is immigration is a benefit or not to a country? I guess that's the question you just have to ask on the most basic level. Is it good or bad?
The tolerance, the implied consent to tolerate unfettered immigrant, hey. I
agree. Like a sovereign country should have.
But me being told that me disagreeing with the whole world is seeing, and you're telling me that I'm wrong for thinking that? Nah.
I'm not saying you're off for. I'm not off for saying you're thinking that, but you're like, okay, so, the usual response would be like, well, you vote for the people you want. Like people vote, and you live in a democracy. And you can, if you want to vote for
Which never really existed.
Again, I'm saying
the last time that existed was 4th century BC. Dude,
yeah,
there's literally countless videos. Bro, you really got to get through Telegram. I will send you some channels, and then you can do the cross post. But there's literally every single day multiple boats with 36 people in all of them just landing on Spanish beaches.
I understand that, and I fully am of the opinion that a sovereign nation should be able to defend their borders however they choose.
Yeah, I don't care about the stop with the sovereign nation. No, stop with the government being telling people no. Just a normal person, an actual Spaniard needs to be sitting there a fucking something. He should be holding something that will stop those people.
But who puts that person there? Who puts that person there? Are you saying who puts that person there?
Somebody who's actually proud of their nation and won't still be
No, I agree. Again, I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm where does that person come from? That person probably
legal ports of entry.
I'm well aware of that. I'm not disputing that. There are legal ports of entry. I don't agree with the whole just giving any illegal immigrant. Again, I'm somewhat of a conspirator in the sense that I think they're doing this on purpose, not to degrade the country. I just think they want to keep this fucking economic Ponzi scheme going, and that's the only way that they know how. Because I'm telling you, if everybody's calling for civil war, wait till fucking everybody's house goes down in value. Or everybody's wages go down.
No, there's not going to be no civil war. No, it's going to be the boiling frog situation, dude. They got us all,
Sure.
I don't know.
And so what are you, we're going to wrap this up, this call, but so what are you, just hopeless about this?
No, I'm not hopeless. I'm literally, it's just going to be I'm not hopeless about, no, I'm not hopeless. Like bro, I got.
Well,
shit
what
to
do you
do
think?
tomorrow.
What do you think is
No,
going to
there
happen?
is a
Like, are you
meme.
waiting for like a militia
So
to essentially
so
say
I'm
we've
gonna
had
be-
enough? Because everybody knows that the power of the.
I'm gonna be super zoomery or whatever the fuck it's called. There's a meme where it's the end of the movie falling down and he's just sitting on the fucking stoop and shit.
Great movie.
And it says everything's just gonna get more gay and more retarded and more fucked up.
Mhm.
You're still gonna have to go to work tomorrow.
Correct.
Like, so, and then also
I mean, really, we're
mean,
talking
dude-
about like what's it going to be like in 100 years from now, right? Like this is essentially,
100 years.
or whatever, 50 years from now. Like this stuff's not
Danny-
going to happen in 5 years.
Danny, it's really easy. Just become a citizen as fast as you can, move out from the city, and figure out which of your neighbors have all the supplies. And
Yeah,
then-
I don't want to do that. I don't want to
Just
fucking.
become-
I'm not a
you gotta
bunker
train
guy.
No, you're not the bunker guy. You know who the bunker people are. You're the raider. You gotta train. You gotta pick up some certain tools, and then you can, bro.
All right. Okay, I gotta let you go because we got a call from Ireland here that I want to take. Slav, everybody. Hello.
Hey man.
Hey, what's up, man?
This is James from Ireland. How you
James
doing?
from Ireland. How you doing, man? I'm
Yeah,
sure you.
normally would go, it's just it's a bank holiday, so
Bank holiday. Got the day off work. So I'm sure you've been listening. What are your thoughts?
Okay. First of all, Tommy Robinson isn't Jewish. He's Irish. That's why he doesn't have the whole. He's like his mom and his dad are both Irish immigrants.
Okay.
That's what's the whole thing.
Okay.
Secondly, we don't really like him because he did some shit with Bloody Sunday, and a bit too supportive of the British Army at that point. We don't really like him for that.
Okay. Fair enough. What's Bloody Sunday again?
Do you not know what? Basically, the British Army opened fired in like the 70s. Opened fired into a crowd of like unarmed Catholic civilians, killed wounded 26, 14 died. That was after they basically shot 11 unarmed civilians in the streets over 2 days, and also basically arrested about 2,000 people without trial, 1,900 of whom were Catholics, whom were basically locked up for years and then pretty brutally tortured. So no one was ever prosecuted. They won some medals for that. Kind of radicalized the IRA, and kind of one of the reasons that everyone is like pretty salty at the British.
Gotcha. By the way, you say that the not prosecuted or whatever. If anybody knows the answer to this, because I don't know if you saw, James, but it was over the weekend, the Department of Justice announced that the 9/11 mastermind, I guess they gave them some sort of plea deal so that they would just get life in prison. Why have they not been tried yet? This might be a stupid question, but I'm like, this was 23 years ago, and they haven't started their trial yet. So, anyways, that's just an aside. If anybody knows, and I'm sure they'll be like, I know they've been held in Guantanamo Bay, even though I thought they were going to shut that down, but I guess they haven't. But, anyways, if anybody knows that, because they're talking about their trial, I'm like, what the fuck?
My guess is they've probably been convicted for a bunch of other stuff, but they just haven't been convicted for that, I guess.
Oh, potentially.
That would just be my guess.
Okay.
Just to say, just because, again, I just heard Northern Ireland being mentioned, I just want to finish that, and then you can talk about whatever.
Yeah.
One basic cause of the conflict is kind of the same reason, like, I don't know, Native Americans might like be pissy at like other Americans. That's pretty much basically the Protestants were like the religion of the settlers, and there was a whole genocide thing. You don't really need to get into it. Those guys, there were like the Protestants and Catholics getting along for the whole like riot stuff, but those guys were not IRA. They were more blue shirts. O'Duffy's lads, probably more from Dublin than Belfast, You can tell by just if you read the flags, they're definitely Dublin folk.
Okay. And
Not
so
that-
the stuff that's going on in the UK right now, is any of that spilling over into Ireland?
Oh yeah, no, we have this shit way before. We had our own race riots in 2023.
Well, I remember when I was
sorry.
right around, there was a stabbing, and it was a similar situation where it was someone who was
but
an Irish citizen but
not-
naturalized.
Yeah, that was just more like a bunch of everyone just took the opportunity to riot. They just robbed a shoe shop. It wasn't a whole thing. But what's actually happened is, well, we're Irish. We don't really protest in the way, I don't know, Americans protest. We protest with bombs.
Yep.
So the general solution is, all like the asylum seekers and stuff, they pretty much just getting bombed. There's been about 20 arson attacks over the last 6 months. They're burning down hotels, like threatening violence, gangs, all that shit. It's we're very like very friendly people, but we do not really protest in the way like other Europeans do. We protest a lot more violently.
When was the last time there were any bombs? Someone, Gimp Gladly says, ask if he disavows U2. Do you disavow U2?
Oh yeah, the pricks.
Yeah, they're pricks. Okay.
Yeah.
And shout out to Dan Buckley for the super chat. I don't know if that was a reference to me or Slav. Go ahead.
Oh, like last bomb was like a couple weeks. Again, there's been like 20 over the last 6 months. Last one was a couple weeks ago. That's just in the Republic. Up north, that's where you get the real bomb shit. But they've kind of been keeping chill. Although basically some of the guys from Dublin have like made friends with some of the unionists up north. Those are like pretty like power. So like they're making friends, which is pretty great. I guess like not for like the Muslim lads. It's pretty shitty for them, but
sure,
those guys are getting on.
And they're actually they're actually blowing up bombs.
Well, petrol bombs, fertilizer, threatening the prime minister. The guards are saying he can't really. Our police are called guards. It's an Irish thing.
Yeah.
Saying he can't stay in his house anymore. There's been some attacks. But again, just to be clear, this isn't like, the Irish are all like doing a whole thing. This is just kind of how we protest. We don't really riot, we bomb.
Okay. And are people worried that this is going to start up again?
The big fuck up thing would not be this. Like, this is an issue people are freaking about. But the big thing would be Brexit, that whole thing. That's the thing that everyone's worried about restarting the Troubles.
In what way? I thought Brexit's settled.
Oh, yeah. But it's... Okay, to get the whole gimmick of Brexit is Britain kind of like wanting control over its own borders. Right?
Yeah.
Britain also shares a border with Ireland, and Northern Ireland is a like fucking complex case. It's Israel-Palestine levels complicated.
Yeah. So
one of basically the deal they made with Northern Ireland is basically never put in a hard border. So it's two individual countries, but just no checks. Anyone can just do whatever.
Okay.
Just treat it like it's one country. Like we have a bunch of shit like that. Like any Irish citizen can like become Prime Minister of Britain without getting British citizenship.
Right, because you know what? We were
like
wondering about that because when we did comedy in Dublin, we flew to London and we got off the plane and I was walking through the airport looking for customs. And then there was 2 lanes. There was like something to declare, nothing to declare. It was like a green light that LED sign said nothing to declare, red one that said something to declare. So I went to the nothing to declare. And then I was just at the taxi stand. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, well, why didn't I have to show my passport to anybody?
It was it's pretty much you can just walk in. Like, again, I can join the army. I don't need to get British citizenship. I can just decide to join the army. I could if I wanted to, I could get elected PM of the UK if somehow someone would let, which would be a terrible idea. But basically, we were all like fine with that till Brexit happened, because the Irish were really pro the EU, like 90%, mostly because it fucks over the British, and because we do not trust them in Northern Ireland. It's like real long, complex politics stuff. But basically, Britain kind of wanted to put in a border in Northern Ireland, and then we pointed out that would like restart the Troubles, so Britain couldn't do that. And that's actually why Brexit was such a fuck up, is Britain kind of forgot about Northern Ireland and then kind of got stuck trying to deal with that.
So where does it stand now with the border? They're just not doing it?
They basically agreed they do have a border, but they basically put the border between Northern Ireland and the UK and like Britain, which really pissed off the Irish Unionists, like the Northern Irish Protestants, because those guys are like really committed to the UK, and they feel the UK just like fucking betrayed them by sticking them. Like, imagine if you put a border between like two states. That's how they feel.
Yeah, that's
like a border between New Jersey and New York. And so they feel like really betrayed, and that's kind of the big issue. But basically, no one wants to fuck with it, and no one really gives a shit about them. So
yeah, and that's probably
until they
start bombing people, and I guess you don't want to give them the incentive to do that.
Again, we've been killing it like until maybe like 30 years ago. We've been killing each other for about at least 300 years.
Right.
Like, again, Israel-Palestine is actually based on Ireland. It was founded, like they founded Israel basically, it was like the people who founded Israel kind of came from the Irish War of Independence and the partitioning of Ireland. So that's how complicated it is. And the fact we have a peace, no one wants to fuck with that.
Which is probably, that's probably a good thing to not let things bubble over.
Oh, yeah. Which actually is a great thing, because, like, our racists are getting friends with their racists, and, you know, it's just nice to see them get along.
Yeah. You just find some common ground, I suppose.
Like, no, I'm not kidding, man. One of the guys there, he was a member of basically a Protestant gang that killed Catholics. Like, one of the people at the protest. And he was just, like, arm in arm with the tricolor and the butcher's apron, or Union Jack. I gotta be nice, I guess. Just, like, singing songs and having a great time.
Crazy. I mean, that is one of the funniest. I mean, it's one of the most illuminating things about general, like, infighting and hatred of other groups, is that everybody thinks it's always divided along racial lines, but then you see like the Protestants killing the Catholics and vice versa, and you're like, any person who doesn't live in Ireland, you're like, you're the same people. I know that they would fucking hate hearing that.
Yeah.
To everybody else, you're like, how are you guys different?
I mean, that's kind of what the Irish flag says, but yeah, that's going to be my like Catholic bias coming out.
Right. I'm just giving an outsider perspective. I'm sure inside of Ireland, it's very serious and all that stuff, and people are like, my fucking grandfather got a bomb in the face.
Grandfather, that's way too early. I can like say parents.
Oh, your parents.
I'll just say the thing. Like, my grandfather watched Catholic houses get burned out. That was a fun program. But I'll just say one thing: the Troubles and all that shit are just profoundly like fucking retarded. It was a real stupid fucking retarded war that nobody really gives a shit about, and everyone's just glad we're all like not doing.
Sure. Yeah. All right, cool. I gotta take another call, James.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. See you.
Thanks for calling in. Later. James from Ireland, everybody. I like how they call it the Troubles. They go, they're killing each other. They go, this is the Troubles. Hello, you're on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, hey, man. My name is Jason. I'm from Alabama.
Jason from Alabama. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, not the previous caller, not the dude from Ireland, but the other one, how he stated there wouldn't be a civil war here in the United States.
Yeah.
Well, the Texas governor even stated a couple months back before the election that if Trump didn't get in office, he's going to succeed Texas from the United States, and Alabama and Florida and Louisiana are going to follow in right behind him.
That would be interesting if those countries, or those states, sorry, became their own country. I still, it seems one of those things where you're like, yeah, on paper people can talk about it, but I feel like when rubber meets the road, that's a lot to do. To actually, like, do people in Alabama have honest conversations about leaving the United States?
Yeah, because I'm actually one of the leaders of the Alabama State Militia, and we have around 10,000 strong already.
So okay, so this is you're part of a militia. Okay, this is actually very interesting. Thank you for calling in, because so you guys, I imagine, are armed to the fucking teeth. That's safe to say.
Oh yeah, I live in a small town, and we already have a couple hundred members.
And so, do you guys ever talk about what this might look like? Because surely you cannot think that you even have a chance against the federal government.
Actually, we do, because we've already stated that even if Trump doesn't get in, we've already talked about it, combining all of our states together. Even without our government support, we have around 50,000 strong.
And what is the Alabama National Guard like?
Well, you have to think, there's two separate ones. There's the ones that are loyal to the federal government. Then there are the ones that are loyal to the governor. The ones that are loyal to the governor are actually loyal to the people.
Right. So you would think that if there's shit pops off, the state National Guard that are loyal to the governor will join forces with you guys to fight the federal government?
They have to. By the Constitution, they actually have to, because we, the militia, are actually the National Guard, so they actually have to.
Interesting. So, and you must have these. Do you have a lot of ex-military people in the militia?
We have a couple. Some of them are some of them were Marines mainly.
Yeah. And how do they feel about the potential of having to fight the federal government?
Well, given that millions of people will die if it happened, but even we've already stated, if Trump doesn't get in office, we're going to paint the entire Capitol red, put it like that.
So if you guys are saying that if Trump is not elected in 2024, which currently it looks like a toss-up, you guys are going to war. You guys will not accept the results of the election. I imagine you guys do not accept the results of the previous election.
No, we tolerated it, but we've already come together and we said we've had enough of this shit, basically.
So literally November, assuming that we get a count on November 5th, maybe it's, I imagine it'll take longer than a day because it always does. But so you guys actually have a plan in place for the day if they announce Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. You guys are going to take action?
We're actually going to take over the Capitol within the first day.
What?
Yes, around 2,000 of us are already in Washington, D.C., just waiting for the word.
Sorry, the state capital or the nation's capital?
We already have over 2,000 strong already surrounding the state capitol in secret, just in case, just waiting for the word.
But you guys are going to take over. You're not going to go after the Capitol in Washington, D.C.
Yes, we are. Full force.
I thought you were going to do this in this. Okay, so and you guys are going to go in armed.
Yes, AK-40s, AR-15, red tip, hollow point rounds, everything.
What?
Yes.
I mean,
we've already got.
Don't you guys expect to be like coming up against the full weight of the United States military at that point? Surely you can't. I mean, you're talking about this on a podcast, so you can't think you're catching them by surprise. Not a lot of people listen to this, but
no, because you had to think constitutional wise, it's our right to go against a tyrannical government. The government is not what it used to be. The government is corrupted by corporate colonialism this day and time.
Okay.
So you had to think like multi-billion-dollar companies like BlackRock, the people that control Coca-Cola, they're one of the people that actually are behind the puppetry behind the U.S. government.
Okay. I mean, I'm thinking about this from a purely outsider standpoint, and I can't see I can't see how this works out. Like, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's obviously not like a January 6th scenario. You guys are going to attempt to overthrow the United States government on.
Think of it like this. Our main plan, to a certain degree, is that we have a box truck, we blow up the main gate, and we storm that Capitol. We take every single corrupt politician that's up there, and we give them two choices. And basically the two choices are that they either admit to their crimes over the last 2 decades, or they'll be shot here on live national television for the entire world to see.
I can't tell if you're fucking with me. Honestly, I don't know if it's the accent or what, but this seems crazy. Like,
we're going to march Trump straight through that front door.
I mean, I would think Trump would not want any part of that.
It doesn't matter. We don't care what he thinks.
So, and you're gonna. So, just to be clear, you guys are going to overthrow the election and then install Trump as the president.
Yes, and we're going to reform the entire government with his help. And we're going to make sure that all of our European allies do not have our support no more.
So you guys are going to go, and so what exactly is the plan here? I mean, a lot of people in the chat think this is a troll. I'm kind of like 50-50 on this because you seem like you know what you're talking about.
No, our main plan is to install him as a temporary control, mainly for the next 4 years, because he's our best bet. After that, during those 4 years, we're going to do our best to try to reform the government to what it used to be, where our founding fathers had it.
And is there going to be another election 4 years after?
Yes, there will be. But the thing is, instead of having two political parties like Republicans and Democrats, the governors of our states will be the mainly the overseers of the president. That's what they're going to be.
And what about like the military and all of this? Because again, I just can't I find it hard to believe that 2,000 people could even how many people are in the United States military? Like hundreds of thousands?
A little less than 1 million because of what the Democrats did a couple of years ago because of COVID.
Okay. So we're talking 2,000 versus potentially 1 million. I mean, obviously a lot of those are overseas and whatnot. You'd think they would get called in. Again, assuming this is even real, how would you think this could work? Or do you guys not care?
Well, we're going to we're not going to fully stop funding the U.S. military, but given that all of our money goes to the military instead of to its people, like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
We're going to take most of the money that goes to the military and we're going to give it back to the people. We're going to have people actually start farming more instead of relying on China and shit.
Okay. And what about the Federal Reserve? You guys doing anything with that?
We're going to make sure everything stays as cash and get rid of a lot of the digital currency.
Okay.
Because if the economy fails digitally, we need something to fall back on. We can't just rely on internet and digitalized money. It's physically impossible, especially if China or something launches an EMP or something over here.
Sure. I mean, you would imagine, if you're playing this out like geopolitically on a global scale, that if you guys had even an ounce of success here, a lot of countries would be watching the United States being like, now's kind of a prime target to kind of swoop in. So then you're not even fighting the federal government and the military. You're going to be now fighting foreign powers as well.
Well, we already have a plan for that. First off, once we get Trump in, we're going to have him succeed from NATO.
Okay. I think you can maybe get him on board with that.
The United States will no longer be a part of NATO because we're basically their little golden goose egg. That's what we are.
Yeah, and Trump's been saying that for a while, and he definitely has a good point that America pays more than its fair share.
we will give our European allies two choices. Either they can repay their debt back or they won't have our protection no more.
Whose protection, though?
Our protection.
Of the 2,000 of you? I mean, there's not going to be 2,000 of you after this is done with.
Well, no, the U.S. military will still be in place.
And are you guys going to rule over the U.S. military, like in the hierarchy? Like where do you guys fall?
Not technically. We will be there to protect the government and the reformation of the new government.
Okay.
The military will still be ruled by the president himself.
Gotcha. So you guys are kind of just coming in to shake things up. And is the hope that you guys get a lot of other militias from other states to kind of join you?
Most of the other states are.
How many militia members are currently in the United States? Do you have an idea?
Well, for Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, and Texas, they're around 50,000 already.
Okay. So that's sizable.
And we have been in talks with North and South Carolina, Kansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee, and they already have around a few thousand already too.
Okay. And I guess I guess there's militias in every state, I would imagine. Do you think every militia is going to kind of fall in line with you guys? I imagine militias are all Trump voters. I can't imagine there's a lot of Kamala voters in militias.
Not all of them per se. They're probably not going to go with our ideology fully.
And are you guys a private militia? I'm just looking up. I just Googled Alabama militias. It says private militias in Alabama are prohibited by law.
Well, no, we're not private militia. We are basically just ordinary citizens that have come together to create just regular militia.
Okay. So it falls under the... it's legal. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, fuck, man. I'll be watching the news on November 6th, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what was the name of the militia again?
The Alabama State Militia. It's mainly just made up of a bunch of backwood and hillbilly guys like me, country people.
Sure. And is there a hierarchy? Like, is there someone who is the leader of this militia?
Actually, there is one dude. I can't say his name.
That's fine. You don't need to say his name. That's not important.
But he was in Congress speaking with the Attorney General with Congress on him going around to other states creating other militias.
Okay.
If you look that up, you might be able to find him.
Okay. All right, cool, man. Well, I don't know if I want to wish you luck, but thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
I mean, I know you guys are saying that's a fucking fad or fake. That didn't seem fake to me. That did not seem fake to me. Conspiracy extremist. What's up, man?
What's up? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Was that a troll? Didn't seem like a troll.
Well, I wasn't going to call in because I'm sick and I'm giving my kid a bath. So that dude, I just listened to him and he's got me all hyped up, man. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start some militia. Where do I sign up? That's what I want to know.
I don't think you do. Well, I think you got to go on Telegram. You can ask Slav. He'll point you in the direction of some Telegram groups. But I mean, like, everybody in the chat is like, this is bullshit. I'm like, that didn't sound like bullshit. He was able to answer. I mean, I've called in and trolled radio shows before. That didn't seem like a troll to me. He had pretty much every answer for every question I had. Pretty detailed, too.
Yeah, I don't think that was a troll. I think a lot of people think like the, like you see those Nazi groups marching around and they're like, oh, they're all feds. I think some of those are actually real.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I said earlier. I mean, I'm one of the few rubes who thinks Patriot Front is somewhat real.
Yeah, you can go sign up and like apply for them.
Yeah, I don't think I can do enough push-ups to get in Patriot Front, but people are saying I'm gullible. I don't know.
No, I don't know, man. It's quite possible that that was legit. But
I mean, he seemed like what he was saying was crazy in the sense that it's like it seems impossible. But I mean, again, if anybody were trying to troll me and call in, I'm like, I ask questions. You're not going to be able to answer all those questions unless you actually are doing this shit. Like you would start getting tripped up at any sort of details.
Yeah, I mean, when you're asking them, you know, how many people and like what.
Yeah, like there'd be a lot of like fucking and like a lot of that.
Yeah, the only thing he did get tripped up when you were specific about the Capitol. You said it's a state.
Well,
capital?
yeah, because he said that. Well, I was wondering about that, but I guess he was saying they're not going to take over the state capitol. He's like they're going to. He said because he initially said we have 2,000 people in Washington D.C. ready to go, which I guess which is weird from Alabama. That's a bit of a mission, but I don't know. Maybe I'm eating the slop right here.
Well, if it is real, I support him, and I think I wish him the best of luck. And maybe we can actually make J6 successful this time.
I mean, if I was a bookmaker, an odds maker, and I put the odds of that being successful, especially he went on the internet, and you'd think that would be kind of kept tight to the old chest there.
Well, I'm sure they would probably already know that they're being tracked, and they're.
Oh yeah, well they must know that they have a lot of people. They must know for a fact that there's feds in that group. If that thing is real, there's no question that's infiltrated. No question.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I don't know, but man, if dude, I'll tell you, if I'm watching on fucking the next day and Kamala Harris is president and they're like 2,000 people are surrounding the White House or the Congress, I may fucking pack my bags and go back to Canada because I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble.
No, you're gonna be doing that meme. Who is that actor? That famous actor from Titanic? That guy.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. That meme where he's eating popcorn. He's pointing at the TV.
Pointing at the TV. Yeah, from
I know that guy.
Once Upon a Time in LA or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be sweating if that happens.
All right, I got a funny story real quick to tell you.
Go
This
ahead.
actually happened to me. All
Go
right,
ahead.
so I think this was a couple days ago at work. This black guy comes in. He's kind of like an older ghetto dude, right? And I'm doing my work thing. Usually we spend like 45 minutes to an hour with people. And he randomly goes, "Are you Republican?" And I go, "No, sir. Actually, I'm a registered libertarian." Blah blah. And he asked me like who I voted for. I'm like, I voted for Joe Jorgensen, embarrassingly.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "How about you?" He's like, "Well, I'm Democrat, but I'm voting Republican this time." And it was like all like the wet dream of like the conservative conning, boomer con, whatever you would call them.
Sure.
Where they have like this one black guy finally turning, coming to the light side. And,
I mean,
anyway,
I will say that if he was so open about it, there must be a lot more like him.
Yeah.
There must be. I mean, black people don't love. I know. I saw a thing. I don't know if it was on CNN or something, but like, black people don't love when there's like some, especially like they don't love when some like Kamala Harris is like Indian and then she's like, now I'm black. They're like, they have their own hierarchies and they don't love that shit. Some of them do.
He literally called Kamala that bitch is retarded. He said to me about Kamala. It was yeah. So, anyways, it didn't even stop there. So eventually, through our conversations, he started bringing up about how like Michelle Obama's a man and how like Kanye West is cloned and how he knew through another person, he knew like one separation away from Will Smith.
Okay.
And he sent Will Smith a message saying like, you got to get away from that demon lady, Jada or whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about her. Like she's part of the CIA and she's going to like take you down. And
I love this
he didn't
guy.
listen to me. Yeah, dude, he was the most fun conversation I've ever had at work. And he kept going on. And like, this dude is like, I'm like, damn, dude, I literally said, you're a guy that, I'd have a beer with you. And then I stood up and I said the N-word really loud.
That's where you lost
Just
him.
kidding.
Every time.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. But this is like, you hear these stories like on Twitter and shit, and you're like, oh, the black people they're come to their senses and Trump's going to win the black vote. And I had one of those like experiences in real life and it went off the rails with this is the most based person ever. Yeah.
I mean, again, that's very likely not an anomaly because he's telling that to all his family and his friends and shit. And, that's probably, there's more like him. And, black people have historically voted Democrat, but the past doesn't necessarily predict the future.
Well, that's what he was saying. He was like, I said to him, like, yeah, the Democrats used to be, I don't blame you, the Democrats used to be like the workers, anti-war, and now they're part of the, he's like, yeah, now they're sucked into the establishment. They're just part of the corporate oligopoly that runs us. So
yeah, the question is do we get a somewhat election without controversy in terms of, irregularities, I guess I could say. I'm going to lose this YouTube channel, huh?
I bet you Kamala wins.
This YouTube channel is gone. This is not going to last. Okay. Anyways, thanks, man.
All right, man. Later.
All right, man. It's not looking good for this YouTube channel. Follow me on Rumble. Rumble's kind of working again. Shout out to everybody watching over on Rumble. I appreciate it all. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to put up a poll. I want to know what you guys think. Was the Alabama militiaman real or fake? All right, we're going to take one last call. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, hold on. Hello.
Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Joe the lawyer. How's it going, man?
Doing well. I think I figured out how RFK got those brain worms.
From the bear? Dude, that bear story is...
Apparently, he has a habit of, taking roadkill, throwing it in the back of his truck, leaving it there for a whole day, and then eating it later.
I mean, that story... Did you see the article? We were watching it on WWIII podcast today, but did you see, the story of, the news coverage? Because there was all these news... it was a big news item 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So then everybody was drumming up all these new all the news reports, and everybody's like, it's so strange. And
so, but he was talking about it that. Oh, the only reason why he didn't end up skinning it and eating it was because
he had to catch
realized,
a flight.
I have to catch a flight, which means so you were going to leave a rotting carcass that was in your van for a whole day. You were going to take that home and then eat it.
No, he wasn't going to. No. He wasn't going to eat it. He was going to skin it. So he wanted to. He basically saw it on the road.
He wanted to skin it and then put it in his fridge. He was
yeah. You know what? You're right. He was going to eat it. I don't know. I mean, I imagine a day.
So I imagine he's done this. before.
Well, he is. He's he's a big outdoorsman. He's a big
Well, that's. I understand. If you go hunting, you kill an animal. You're supposed to take care of you let out the organs immediately. You're
Yeah.
You're not supposed to leave it rotting for a whole day and then.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, there were certainly, I'm sure, some actual outdoors people would be like, that is fucking insane. I'm definitely a layman when it comes to that. It seems like, you could get a nice little bathroom rug out of that thing.
I don't know. That was just, I can't believe that was real. It
is
wild.
Well, I'm curious how the New Yorker found out about that, though, because he put that out because the New Yorker was about to write a piece about it. So one of his friends or someone who was involved he said he was doing with a bunch of drunk buddies. So they probably, when I first thought the story was, when he's talking about it, I'm just like, wait a minute, it's were you guys all teenagers? That would make, no, you were in your 50s. 60s. Oh yeah, he would have been 59.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that story, I was laughing. It's such, I mean, again, he didn't kill the bear. He didn't really do anything other than waste resources of the police. But man, I'd be fucking sweating if I did something that stupid. And then, cause you have to think Central Park, if you've never been to Central Park, I mean, if you go at 2 in the morning,
I have, obviously.
No, you have, but I'm saying for people watching or listening, if you go at 2 in the morning or something, yeah, it's not that busy, but there's still people. There's never
definitely
dead.
Yeah.
It's never just totally empty. And to go dump a bear, dude, imagine someone saw him and they're like, is that fucking RFK Jr. dumping? And then he dumped a bike. So that added just more mystery to the whole situation.
He thought it was funny, and I think it is funny.
It is funny. The story is objectively funny, but still, I
thought that Trump was the funniest guy running until this story.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of talk of people saying that he's going to drop out and then Trump will put him in head of the EPA as part of the Trump administration. So, but,
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the election, Kamala. So she might end up choosing Shapiro for her running mate. I think that's a terrible idea.
She did officially chose Shapiro?
No, she might. No.
Well, now it's flipped. So the betting markets, because they had that the mayor of Philadelphia put out accidentally a video saying essentially like Shapiro would be the candidate. It was like a congratulatory thing, and everybody's like, it got leaked accidentally. It was supposed to come out today. Now the betting markets, Tim Walz was like 10% chance on Polymarket as of, I want to say like 3 days ago, and now he's taken the lead at 50%. But Josh Shapiro has some weird stuff behind him, because obviously, his time in the IDF probably can't help with kind of the further left people.
Well, he said, well, they call him Genocide Josh.
Genocide.
But he's like, I changed my mind on all this. Like, this was like recently, like today or yesterday.
Sure. Yeah. This is when it was, he had a chance to be the vice president, where he goes, when I changed my mind. Also, there's a really crazy thing where there was this woman murdered, and she was like stabbed 20 times with some of them in the back and the neck. And then it was he basically forced it to be ruled like a suicide. And essentially, like, once a coroner rules something a suicide, it like can't really be overturned. But he had something to do with that ruling, and so people were like, that was just, I guess, a fairly shady thing, because he had something to do with it, and everybody's like, it's clearly a clearly a murder, and he was adamant that it was a suicide. So,
no, I just don't want a Jew to be vice president or anywhere in the White House, really.
No, I mean, I've been doing a joke about it, how there's never been a Jewish president, but every president's boss has been Jewish.
Yeah, no, it's people hate us enough as it is, and
I mean, the first gentleman is more than enough, I think.
Well, I mean, that man is an idiot.
Yeah.
Like in terms of his, like, if you read it, like whatever he puts out for like any of the Jewish holidays, he has no idea what he's talking about. It's I can't even make heads or tails of it. Like, where did you pull this from?
Right. Yeah. He's probably I don't know.
Like, he knows less than you do, Danny, and you don't know anything.
Yeah. I don't know shit either. But I don't know. We'll see. It looks like, I mean, I think she has some big event tomorrow. I think they're saying that she'll have a decision by tomorrow. I mean, they were saying Mark Kelly was in the lead, the astronaut, and that's not happening.
That like fizzled out like 2 days ago or something.
That fizzled out, yeah. So, and that's like 1%, so that must have no chance. But but Minnesota's not a swing state, so you don't even really get this, because I know
they really need
Pennsylvania is a swing state, so it's like assuming that
without it they lost. Like they can't win without Pennsylvania.
And assuming that you get but Minnesota has only gone Republican, I believe, once under Richard Nixon. Other than that, it's blue every year. So you don't even get that advantage. So I don't know. I don't know enough about Tim Walz though, so I can't really speak to it. He went to West Point. He was born in West Point. All right. Well, I don't know.
Okay. Oh, one more thing before I go.
Yeah.
So in the Ten Commandments, it says that you should honor your father and mother.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it say about in-laws?
Tolerate them?
Don't murder.
Good advice. Sounds like you've been having some in-law issues.
Oh my God. I don't want to talk
that's great. All right, Joe. I gotta run. Thanks,
care.
Man. All right. Joe the lawyer, everybody. A little levity. All right, that's been the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. Again, every Monday night every first Monday we'll be doing open lines format. I genuinely enjoy it. The results of the poll was the Alabama militia guy at Troll 59% yes, 41% no. So I don't know. Not too. I'm of the no camp. I don't know. He seemed to answer every question I had. I feel I know we had another caller I remember recently, and people said the same thing about him. They go, that guy's a troll, and he wasn't. I remember we proved that he wasn't actually. So anyways, that's my thoughts on that. I guess we'll see on November 6th. I don't know. Anyways, that's been the show. If you want to support the show, join the channel. Appreciate all the super chats, by the way, from everybody. This phone bill is ridiculous, and there was a lot of overseas callers, and they really ding you on. Those are like 25 cents a minute. Dan Buckley, I take back what I said about Slavy's on point. Bama. Regarding Fed infiltration, you should watch Black Pill's PatCon series from John Carter. I'll check that out. And Dan Buckley, don't you say that. This YouTube channel rules. Thank you. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. Just hit that subscribe button if you're just watching. And over on Rumble, if you're watching over on there, please subscribe to my Rumble channel. Rumble actually just updated their algorithm, so you actually see it. I had some episodes where there's fucking 10 people watching, even though I have almost 40,000 subscribers there. So who knows how this stuff works? Certainly not I. New episode of The Bathhouse tomorrow night, 9 p.m., live from the Stand Comedy Club Green Room. We are back there. And if not, we have our auxiliary studio now, so we will not be missing episodes. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate everyone who called in. I apologize about the audio tonight. I will work at remedying that. I don't know what I'll do other than restart my computer and plug it back in. But there's always hope. All right. Good night, everybody.
My shit heroic. Empathic abilities, yeah, my face be also stoic. Bleep, blow up, nigga, that just means I'm working. They see me as a leader, so that's why I'm Captain Kirkin. These tracks from the stars, that much is for certain. You can feel this hit if you up or if you hurt. I'm raising my stock, not talking my feet in some Birkin. Number Johnny 5 got a fucking short circuit. Bring the track to life when I spit phenomenally. When I hit, she feel that shit in her abdominals. These rappers make me laugh like comic view, they comical. You know I got a ball out, I hit the track running just like Sonic do. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, and they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up fresh on some flight shit. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, and they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah.